Okay, so we talked about the basic external rotation, which is that side-lying external rotation. I showed you with a towel and a weight. If you haven't seen that video yet, make sure you check that out first, because that's going to be our starting block or the cornerstone of how we build external rotation, strength and endurance. But the next step of that is actually to make it slightly harder by introducing what we call degrees of freedom. So what I mean by that is, if my arm is pinned to its side, it's not free to move in any plane other than this way. You can't move forward, can't move backwards, you get the point, right? So introducing another degree of freedom, maybe I pull my arm out here, now it can move up, down, forward, backward, and in that rotational plane. But the rotational plane is what we still want to strengthen and focus on. So our body's having to work a little extra hard in order to stabilize every other degree while we do rotation. So a borderline beginner way to do that, other than on the bench, is now we're going to bring our arm out to our side here, okay? But we're going to stabilize it on the rig. And I'm going to pull my arm back and then forward. I'm barely getting any motion out of this, okay? I'm gonna do that until I get a good feel for what it's supposed to feel like. I'm gonna set my shoulder blades, I'm gonna keep my elbow where it is, but then we're gonna get into this harder degree of variation, degree of freedom here, with a band. So I'm gonna pull this up, and I'll shorten this just so you can see a little better. But I'm gonna get this, let's say, shoulder height. Now, as I'm here, I have to work on stabilizing everything except for rotation in order to pull this back. And this is pretty tough. Now, if I do this, this is super easy because I am using 3 or 4 different muscle groups to get the external rotation done. But if I just keep it here and just do rotation, keep my elbow as stable as I can, squeeze my shoulder blade, this is quite a bit more difficult. So the other thing you'll notice, I actually started cheating here already. I don't want to bend my wrist. I'm not trying to use these forearm muscles to get the band back. I want to keep this straight, and I want to just rotate backwards. Okay? So normally I'd be farther back like this. And then same concept as before. If I'm trying to build strength and a little bit of hypertrophy, I'm going to hit that 8 to 12, maybe the 12 to 15 rep range at first. The 12 to 15 rep range can be beneficial if you're trying to establish that motor pattern of, or the mind controlling the muscle and getting used to the movement. But once you're used to it, you go back to that 8 to 12 rep range. That's going to help you build strength alongside some of that hypertrophy or thickening of the muscle. And you're going to just work on that increased degree of freedom. And then once that's progressed really well, even by this point, this is where a lot of shoulder pain patients actually feel quite a bit better if external rotation is truly one of their only issues. But I beg you, don't stop there, because there's not a lot we do in life that just mimics this nice, slow, controlled movement in one plane. So I'll make another video talking about how we can make it even more applicable, but this is kind of that middle step.